What's going on, guys? Fearmaky here, bringing you another video. Let's get into it. Let's roll deep and keep grinding out there, guys. Let's dive into the video. Let's go. All right, fellas, let's get into this. I've been reading a lot of your comments, a lot of questions. I appreciate them all. They're very good. A lot of very good feedback in theory crafting, even making me think outside the box. And a community is always better than one person, and I truly embrace that. And it means a lot to me, every single one of your comments, be it good or be it bad. I learn from all of them, and I hope that I can improve and do better on the next one. But I wanted to get this video out here for you guys strictly on the topic of what about, you know, the Transcendent and Red Skill modules for Lepic. Have you tried them out? Are they good? Or what if you put on the increased efficiency mod, GG, your build's going to be insane and you're going to do 10 times more damage, and etc, etc. Well, how about we check it out together? How about we test it together and we see what's good and what's bad and what we can do with the build. Now keep in mind, there's a lot of things you can definitely do with the game, with the character, especially when it comes to Lepic gun builds and just running and gunning and having your grenades regen as you're gunning targets down and you're firing them off. I'm not saying that that would be a bad thing. However you play the character, it's you, it's how you have fun with it and what you enjoy doing. Like when I created my guide, right, I said I set out on a mission. I wanted to do an ultimate explosive critical hit damage build and just blow things up and kill bosses as fast as possible. That was my thought process. And I like to think that that was original, because a lot of the videos on the first Descendant, a lot of the propaganda and news, I mean, you guys know this, was everybody go bunny. Obviously, it's going to attract all the young people and the kids, and she's flashy and she's showing her, you know, privates everywhere. But regardless of that, you know, visual, right? She's extremely fast at farming, AoE in the whole map and zipping around, which is 100% true. She's visually attractive. She zips around extremely fast, farms very efficient, and it's definitely a character I recommend all of you guys playing. I didn't gravitate towards that because I'm like, everybody's going to be playing Bunny, and you have to unlock her, and I just want to get in and hit the ground running, and I want to play Lepic, and I want to play an upgraded version of Lepic, which is why I chose Ultimate Lepic. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, you know, and I wouldn't change anything if I had to go back. But that was my thought process going into the game, and I hope everybody, you know, shares the same feelings, right? You get into the game, you look at the 19 characters, and you gravitate and resonate towards a character that you enjoy playing. I also understand, you know, people want to, I just want to get a build and something that works, that's tried and true, somebody who has already put in 100 hours into it, and I know it's going to work. That way I'm not wasting my time and spinning my wheels grinding for something that's not going to work. I don't have the time to do all of that. I just want to get in, work towards a goal, and get it done. Well, that's where I come in. That's where, you know, a lot of the content creators come in. That's what YouTube is for, you know, for you to look up information and see what people are doing. And if you like what they're doing and you like the build, and then you do that. If you don't, definitely do your own build, you know, and put it out there or share in the comments. We'd love to try it out. That's what the community is about, guys. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get into, have you used red module skills on Lepic? All right, so first of all, so people understand, because I've also seen this question. Let's say you're looking for a module. You press M, go to Access Info, go to Module, and you can filter it all by Transcendent, which will be the ultimate versions of the class mod. Go to Transcendent, and then you can click sort by name. I'm sorry, you click Descendant here on the left, then sort by name, and I thought we could sort it by class. I guess not. I thought we could do it. Maybe that's just on our own search menu. But anyways, you go here and you can see all of the Descendant, Transcendent mods in the game. You can see owned and all, or just strictly what you own. These are all of the ones I own from farming and playing the game. You cannot buy these in the store. Not that I'm aware of. I don't think you can. If you can, don't even let me know in the comments below. I don't want people to know. I don't think you can buy these in the shop. You have to farm, you have to run the content and play the game. Right? You're not going to get these by paying it. And then not owned, these are all the not owned. So you can see based on the Transcendents I own, I've been playing the game for a significant amount. These are really low drop rates. All right, so that's how you look at your Transcendent mod. There are other resources out there in the wiki. You can look at your class mod, but if you just mouse over each one, you can see like this mod here is for Ultimate Bunny high voltage. It tells you right at the bottom, and then you can press U to track the item, and then you can press F. So I'll do one example. I wanted at the beginning the regenerative break-in mod for Lepic. Why isn't this showing up? Why is this doing that? Oh, because I'm under owned. So regenerative break-in right here. So I was tracking this for the longest time, and I did not get this mod because it comes from a awful event. If you ask me, you have to grind out the polymer shards and other shards, and then you have to go and do the event, and it has a very low drop chance. And it just has a chance to recover your MP skill when using a skill. But this mod here, if I ever get it and I choose to decide to grind for it and grind the resource, I'm just playing the game, and as I'm gathering resources from the void fragments, eventually I'll have enough to just do a session of just doing the event to get it. And this could definitely, I'll definitely use this as a red mod for my build, which will push it to the limit. But again, you're going to be limited, right, by the duration on your ultimate. So even if you recovered 1,000,000 mana, you only have a 14-second window with I think it's like what, a 1 second global, right, that you fire your rocket, your gun out, or actually 0.5 seconds maybe to get your rocket out. So it doesn't matter how much mana you get back. But this is a mod I'm definitely interested in, not for the speed kill and boss farming, but more so for farming in the map in general and doing strikes and doing waves, etc., infiltration. It's a good quality of life mod that you know, you'll get pretty much free mana to keep spamming your skills and abilities, and you don't have to get out of combat to wait for it. So definitely recommend going after it, and this is how you get it. So you search the mod, you press F for acquisition info, you have to click the mod, and then comes up a detailed list of where the item drops. All right, and you can see everything here. I recommend doing that on hard, but let's go to normal. Let's say everybody's, you know, starting out the game, etc. I would not recommend farming it on normal because the amount of currency you get from the void fragment, what is it, whatever, the void fragment feature in the map, which I'll show you, doesn't drop as many on normal. I think you get like 3 or 1. It's really low, but on hard you get like 13 of them per drop, and especially, you know, with the increased drop ratios now, it might be even better. I don't think they buffed that drop ratios, but anyways, let's say you're looking for that mod. The way to get it is you click on the first option, normal void fusion reactor, brings you to the map right here, and this is exactly where I got my mid-air maneuvering mod. So you have to farm the void fragment missions. You have to have the destructible only by fire skill. You cannot do this with your friends or have a friend with a different skill help you, or let's say I can't help you get this material, because if you scroll down, it tells you additional reward for matching skill attribute. So your character, your class physically has to have a fire skill and initiate the event, or you can join the mission with another Lepic or Blair or SM or any class that can do fire, and then you'll also be eligible for the additional rewards. So you have to do a ton of these events, and once you collect all of these polymer shards and monomer void shards, all of this currency, then you take it over to the void fusion reactor, and you can see here it requires 13 void polymer shards and 2 organic shards. This is on normal difficulty. And you can see you only get 1 reward by doing that event. It's too tedious, too long, and the drop chance for you to get the regenerative break-in is 1%. If you do this on hard, it goes up to a 2.5% drop ratio, and you get like 13 as a reward here. But I did farm this for a while, thinking that I was, you know, could get it because I wanted to go after that, and I actually got real lucky and got the mid-air maneuvering sub skill out of it, the mobility skill, which I highly recommend everybody to get it, to do that event. But I recommend doing it on hard. That way you have an increased drop chance on mid-air maneuvering, and also, you know, increased drop rate shards, and then you can take it over here to the void fusion reactor and do the event, kill the boss. It is slightly difficult if you're under geared, but then when you kill the boss, you'll have a chance to drop regenerative braking, and that's how you would go after that. And that process follows the same for every single module in the game. You know, you don't have to just go after Transcendence. You can go after any mod that you want to do, and just type the name in here, and, you know, click on it and click F, and that's how you get it. But anyways, that's how you acquire mods. So let's test out Lepic's mods and see which ones are good and which ones are not. So I'm under my experiment build, and for this experiment, because I don't have enough capacity, I know I can socket, and thank you guys very much for your feedback. It's something I do know that you can do, but I have to spend a catalyst to do it, but you can socket. So for example, right, if I want to save an additional 5 capacity on my character, or you know, reduce the capacity cost from the mid-air maneuver, and therefore gaining 5 more free module capacity, my mid-air maneuvering capacity is socket type malachite. So you see all the socket types here: cerulean, almandine, malachite, xanthic, and rutile. So my mid-air maneuvering is malachite. So if I modify that socket slot with malachite, click on here, I'm not going to do it. It will use a crystallization catalyst and socket it, but at the same time your character, your descendant level, will go from 40 back down to level 1, and then you have to level all the way again to 40 so you can have the opportunity to change another socket. So you can see how many times I've done this, which is why it's not easy to theorycraft and just come up with another build and do it. And yes, you can buy the crystallization catalyst from the shop, which I do not recommend you do, because you're still going to be gated by the experience gain in playing the game. So you just waste your, and while you're playing and farming for multiple resources, you're going to get this. And I showed you in another video how many resources I have, and there's hundreds of videos out there on how to get resources quick and farm. And with the recent patch, the devs made it much easier to get this anyway, so why would you ever spend money on doing it? Just, you're gonna hurry up and pay so you can hurry up and wait to get leveled. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, you can module the socket, the sub module, and save on capacity. So let's talk about so these, what I dropped for the experiment, I dropped MP, additional MP, and I dropped MP conversion. Okay, I did not drop the other modifiers, which will give me duration and skill damage, so that way we can test out, but we're really just seeing what the mods do. So we'll start out first with the explosive stacks for Ultimate Lepic. What this skill module does is modifies grenade throw to be charged up 3 times. Grenade charges once whenever a certain amount of ammo is consumed. That ammo amount is 25 bullets. When you fire 25 bullets, you'll get a new charge of explosive stacks. And this can be really good if you're doing a gun build with Lepic and you're running and gunning, or even just farming and you just want to keep spamming grenades. But somebody asked in the YouTube comments, does it cost mana? And yes, it does cost mana. So let's look how it works in practice. So you see how I have 1 stack of it there? I'm going to shoot this guy 25 times, and I got another stack. Shoot him again. 3 stacks. It caps out at 3. So if we shoot him past 3 stacks, it doesn't do anything. So essentially, you fire your grenade 1, 2, 3, and then you have to shoot again to get the stacks again. To me, it's a gunplay, grenade play, gunplay, grenade play. It's, you know, if you want to go that style, it's pretty good. You know, you can fire and keep doing that with it, but you can see your mana going down. Eventually you're going to run out of mana, and obviously when you're throwing your grenade, you want to be overclocked, so you're wasting mana there. Then you're going to be pulling the mobs in, right? Boom. a big pile, and then you throw your grenade. So eventually you're going to be out of mana, etc. So it's a more stop and play. It's pretty, I mean, it's good, it's fun. It's not my play style right now. Maybe on waves it can be really good, which we'll put something together for that. And I think it'll be really beneficial for the waves. You're shooting everything down. You know, you put your overclock on, you throw your why can't I think of the name of the grenade? The traction grenade, which applies towed, by the way. You throw your traction grenade, overclock traction grenade, and you're firing. When everything pulls in together, you throw your grenade. Boom. And that's it. And it does waste mana, but that's what it does. It's not, you know, something, you're not going to get speed kills on bosses with this. You'll definitely get a lot of speed clear, and, you know, on the waves, it'll definitely be beneficial if you do that. One thing I want to mention, all my testing that I do on the dummies, and to keep everything the same, I go to the lab. I always do Legion of Immortality. I make the mob level 100. As you can see, it's already 100. And I just set to one mob. So that way I don't have all that cluster and all the things. So I can see the damage numbers and see what's happening. Because if you do 5 mobs, or in this case here 9, it's just a ton of numbers everywhere. You can't comprehend what's going on. And I don't know why if it's a bug or not, but every time you spawn the bugs, if you don't toggle on, off, and on, the mobs will die. You go in there, you fire one shot, they get deleted, then you're like, what the hell? You have to repeat. So I always toggle on, off, back to on, and I spawn the Vulgus. And if you get closer, you can see there'll be a padlock on it, which means that mob cannot die. And that's how I do all of my testing. And if you guys want to do yours the same, that way we keep everything consistent, that's fine. If you do change, one thing I did notice, scratching my head the other day when I was stereo crafting, if you change between the mob types, the damage will be different significantly on your crits. So I was doing Legion of Darkness, I'm like, why am I getting so much lower damage numbers? And maybe somebody has a better explanation for this. Maybe it's because of the mob levels and ratings in the zones and increased resistances, or their resistance types towards our abilities will obviously affect the damage type. But just to prevent all of that from happening, I just keep it on Legion and do all my testing here. Whether my skills will do more damage to Order of Truth or Legion of Darkness or my weapon, I don't care about that, because I want something universal across the board. And not, you know, if they had multiple loadouts, I would do loadouts for each, you know, specific mob type, but I think that's a little too try hard. Maybe it might be something for raid bosses in the future, but I do everything on Legion. But anyways, that is what the explosive stacks grenade do. Let's move on to nerve infiltration. I actually upgraded this earlier on last week when I was playing. I wanted to know what it did, and kicked my ass until I finally figured it out. So press save. When you press save, it automatically updates the stats and the status. You can see how my grenade became green. My overclock, and it actually titles it now Nerve Infiltration. So what Nerve Infiltration does is overclock no longer inflicts burn, which is the dot on the target, which is massive damage, but now it inflicts weakened regeneration. If you mouse over your overclock, which is now Nerve Infiltration, it tells you there on the right, on the basic info, that weakened regeneration, it lasts 17.5 seconds. What it does is decreases the HP recovery of combat status on the mob by 50%, shield recovery out of combat by 50, HP recovery battle status by 50, shield recovery during battle status by 50, HP heal recovery modifier by 50, outgoing shield recovery modifier by 50. If you can fit this in your build, where I see this would be beneficial, is the Devourer boss. Right? If you can't burst him down fast enough, a majority of us can't, and especially if you're playing in party and whatever the situation, you don't get lucky crits, you're going to go into his immunity phase, which he spawns 3 bubbles, and you have to break those bubbles immediately to prevent him from healing up to full. What you should do is kill one immediately with your friends. If you guys are really strong, you can spread out and just kill all 3. But I recommend everybody going on one right away to cut the healing in half immediately, then move on to the second and then third. But what this mod here will do is it'll weaken the ability of the boss to heal, pretty much as mortal wounds like in World of Warcraft. It'll decrease his ability to heal, his shield recovery will be reduced, giving you more time to kill him. Now remember, it only lasts 17.5 seconds, so you'd have to apply this as he's becoming immune, you know, with your overclock, and you just throw a grenade, and then you have 17 seconds to deal that because the debuff will drop. I don't think you can put the debuff up while he's immune, so it's something that's really niche right now. I'm sure later on with season 1 and harder content, this would definitely be you know, beneficial in the support build, but that's, you know, that's what the mod does. That's why I don't use it. I don't see the benefit for it right now, and I'm not running it for that reason, because I don't have enough capacity that I have to remove 2 mods. Okay, but that's nerve infiltration, and we'll show you how it works. So you pop overclock. I don't think it works with guns, does it? No. So you throw your grenade, and there you see weakened regeneration. And if you pop your ultimate, it also refreshes the stack and applies it. You can see it there. Okay, so that's what weakened regeneration does. Not really beneficial for the build and speed kill if you're trying to do that. You know, I would not recommend it if you're trying to do crazy builds. I'll do it as a support build with your friends for sure. So I don't think I'm in combat anymore. The next mod that we have, we'll do the power unit charge. Overclock no longer increases skill power, it increases firearm attack instead. I don't know what the increase on firearm is, where we would even track that. I don't do gun builds. The firearm attack is 36,055. So let's see if we pop overclock. Yeah, then it goes to 45,223. So that's what it is. Increases your gun damage. Obviously, I'm going skill build. I wouldn't recommend that, but if you're going a gun build, 100%, you should be using power unit charge to increase your gun damage. If you're lucky to get this as a drop, you don't have the items yet for a skill build, then definitely, you know, put this together and, you know, up your guns and, you know, go ham, because you'll definitely get more damage out of it. And that is the full max power. Putting points into it will only reduce the capacity cost, just so you guys know. It's not going to make it stronger. It's going to reduce the capacity cost. And that's the same for both the mid-air, not the mid-air maneuvering, because this will decrease the charge time, etc. But that is the case for all your Transcendent skill modules. So that's power unit change. And then we did nerve infiltration with the weakened explosive stacks. The final one is the main one, where somebody commented on the video and said, hey, put on increased efficiency, GG, your build becomes overpowered. So you guys are about to see what happens when we do increased efficiency. What the mod does is mana is no longer consumed while your unique weapon is active. It consumes mana when attacking with your unique weapon. It recovers mana when the unique weapon lands a critical hit. So theoretically, right, this would be an amazing mod for us, because when we pop our ultimate, we're continuously burning mana, 34 mana per cost, every second, right? So eventually we're going to run out, which is why the build is very balanced around having a good enough mana consumption cost and skill duration for our ultimate, so we can get us 12 shots out to dish out huge damage. But what happens if you put on increased efficiency? Now it no longer costs mana, and then when you crit, you get your mana back, therefore allowing you to stay in your ultimate state for an extended period of time. Well, the issue with this mod, I don't know if it's a bug, and they should definitely change it, because it would make the build even more powerful than what it is that the ratio to fire your ultimate is reduced by like doubled. So you'll see here right now, pop the ultimate, there's no timer, but look, I'm spamming left click and it does not shoot. 1, 2, so it's like a 1.5 second time that it takes you to get a shot out. So your damage is like, I'll have Riot 2 games do the math. You guys are way better at math than me can do it. Like, dude, it's like a 5,000 damage % decrease when you pop that on. Like, it makes absolute no sense as to why I would ever use this mod to DPS. And yes, the idea of going around the maps and you can, do it to clear trash and do the waves is cool, but you're still only firing one shot per 1.5 seconds. It could be really amazing for waves, and I'm gonna try it, believe it, don't get me wrong. But the highest crit we're gonna get, what, 279,000 there? when we crit for 3 million. I don't know what is wrong with this mod, why it does that. So every time I crit, it don't use mana, and as long as I'm critting, I can cast as many overkill shots as possible, but eventually you're gonna run out. But I went from doing 3 million damage down to 300,000, right? So what is that, 300% damage decrease? Is that what that is? Whatever, somebody, Rise Chooser, you guys can do the math on it. But anyways, that is why the mod, guys, is not good. And in theory, it sounds great and it would be amazing, but this is the reason why you should not use increased efficiency if you're trying to do speed farming builds and if you're trying to kill bosses fast. And to me, this is way too slow, way too sluggish. This should up the damage, will be the same, and it should fire just as fast as we were without using the mod. I don't know why it does that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Try one more time here. Yeah. Not worth it. So you'll see target's burning, so I'm gonna respawn him so I'm out of combat. And then we'll do the final test here without the increased efficiency mod, and you can see the difference. And I won't change between solo, I'll keep the same build, same everything, just remove the mod, and you can see what we're gonna do. I'm out of combat. Okay, ultimate reset. Right there, 2 million crits. And you fire so much faster. See that? 2 million crits. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you, but increased efficiency is not a good mod to put on Lepic. It would be, you know, good, I guess, for farming out in the world and doing things like that in waves, and if you like firing at that slow rate. But if the devs ever watch this video, somebody can give feedback in their forums. They should definitely change this mod. It should up our damage, and you know, it should not decrease our damage drastically, and only make our shots into 1.5 second shot time between shots. It's just too long. I don't have regenerative breaking, as I showed you guys earlier, to test it out to see how much mana we would get by casting, but that is something I'll definitely be going after, and I think that would be the mod to use for sure. For now, I'll leave you guys with that. And let me know in the comments below other content you guys would like to see, and please keep making your comments, your posts. Like I said, I'll read them, and as I read them, I'll create content and respond to you guys with tests and data, etc. Alright, you guys have a good rest of your day, and roll deep. Woo!